Ahoy there, me hearties. This be Captain Silverhook, and you're listening to the Two Old Pirates podcast. Set sail for an open sea of stories, tales, and some really crazy stuff. I expect you to like and subscribe, lest you be walking the plank. Ha ha ha!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 74 of the Two Old Pirates. This one's going to be called Death of a Snowbird. And if you're from our small, charming town of Rockport, you know what a snowbird is. It's somebody who's usually visiting our town from a faraway state like Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, places like that. And they come down here during the winter because it's, of course, a much less brutal winter. So this is a 100% true story from our little town about the accidental death of someone who was just visiting and how it intertwines with me. Not that I did anything. So you have to go back to the early to mid 1990s. I was just finishing up college. I was going to go out there into the big world and become a teacher and a coach, and I had my whole life ahead of me. But at that time, I still needed a job. So I was working at Walmart as a cashier, and the aisle that I had, was kind of slow that day. And so just to give you an idea, if I was facing you and you were checking out, to my right would be the cash register, and next to me would be where I would scan the items, right? And then to the left of me would be the baggage area where you can go ahead and sack all the groceries. And to the left of that was like a flat surface that we had a small piece of plexiglass on each register, the end cap basically. And underneath that we had our local newspaper, the Rockport Pilot, a copy of that so that people could come by and look at it and say, hey, I'd like to have a copy of that. And then we had them underneath and we could pull one out and hand it to them. And they could go and get the local news. Well, I'm sitting there one day, and nobody's in my line, so it's kind of boring. So I kind of like look over, and I look down, and I see local man questioned in murder of woman. And I was like, what the heck? So I lifted up the plexiglass, I got the copy out, I started reading about it, and I saw a name, and I knew this person. I'd gone to school with this person. And I saw that there was an accidental shooting, and a person who was with her husband, who happened to just be visiting Rockport, happened to be driving through the different neighborhoods and just checking out our charming little town, had been shot and killed. No charges filed. So I was like, that sounds kind of weird that somebody could shoot somebody and no charges would be filed, but I took it, put it back underneath the plexiglass. People were coming through my line. Didn't really think about it. Thought it was kind of a weird story. Didn't really know the whole, I didn't know the whole 9 yards about it. So about an hour and a half later, I'm ringing up somebody else. And as I'm sacking, I happen to look back and I see somebody else come into the line. And the person who just came into my line is the person who's in the story who evidently killed this woman. And I'm like, do I bring it up? Do I skip it? Do I turn off my light and say, hey, I'm closing? I mean, what do you do? So I finished with the person that I was checking out, and this person came up. I played dumb. I didn't want to bring up something that was very, very horrible. So while this person was there, they looked kind of gloomy. I said, hey, how's it going? And they're like, not really good, Eric. Some stuff has happened lately. And I said, oh, what are you talking about? And this person then looked at me and said, I accidentally killed someone. And, I was like, what? What did he just say? I had read it, but to hear it come from the person who had accidentally done this was a totally different story. So I asked them, I said, what are you talking about? And they basically said to me, they were over at a friend's house, and the friend got up to go do something, take a shower, make a sandwich. It doesn't matter. It's so long ago. But what had happened is on a coffee table sitting there was a gun. And he thought that it was unloaded. And he was sitting inside the house. And from what he told me that day, he picked it up, raised it up, pointed it towards the front door, and jokingly pulled a round off. And the gun popped back, and he realized, oh my God, there's a live round. Probably scaring the living daylights out of him, just that part of it. What unfortunately happened is that couple that was visiting, that was driving through the town, just checking out different neighborhoods and stuff like that, they happened to be passing past that house right at the moment he pulled the trigger. The bullet explodes from the gun, goes through the door. As they're passing by, the passenger window is passing right by, and the bullet goes through the passenger window and hits the lady in the head, and she succumbed to her injuries. He was shocked, you could see. He was saddened. There was no images of, it's not that big of a deal or anything like that. He was holding up, but you could tell that it was a terrible thing that had occurred. It was 100% what you would call an accident, except, like my dad told me when I was little, you don't ever point a gun unless you're willing to use it. And in this case, it was a young guy who wasn't really paying attention and never would have wanted this to have ever happened. And without checking, see if there was one in the chamber, he just pulled the trigger, and it took a life. And to have read the story, summarized it about an hour and a half before, and kind of been taken aback, like, wow, I knew the person that was involved. Then an hour and a half later, they just happen to stroll through your line, and they tell you exactly what happened. That, just an accident, just a dumb thing to do, to pull that trigger and release that round. And the lady had to be going by at the right moment, or the wrong moment, if you know what I mean, for this tragedy to happen. As far as I know, there was never a charge filed due to the case being declared an accident, just an accident, and no one is held liable or guilty. And that man probably never wanted to come back to Rockport again, that was driving with his wife on just a day out, checking out the town. And the next thing he knows, he has lost his wife. But that is a 100% true story of something that happened to me with somebody that happened to have accidentally killed someone in my hometown. And within an hour of finding out about it, to actually be talking to the person, and not by choice, just by chance. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I will be bringing you more content coming up soon. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. We're over 600. We're at 625, I think, viewers, subscribers. Let's get it to 700, guys. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. So, if you enjoy this, share it. If you remember anything about this, comment. I never use names. I just use instances and different things that have happened. Please do not include names. But anyways, I hope that you enjoy this, and I'll be coming back with another one this weekend. And peace and love. Two Old Pirates.